Hi guys, it's James here from Optics Warehouse and welcome to our latest podcast. This one is a special edition podcast. I am joined today by Kieran from the WHFTA, which is obviously the World Hunter Field Target Association, and it is an event that we are sponsoring in September. So Kieran, thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, fantastic. I understand, obviously, you've travelled quite a distance today, especially
it could have been worse, but yeah, Bristol.
Yeah.
But
it's so thank you very much for
it's a pleasure, mate.
Today.
It's good to see.
Good. All we're going to do today is obviously go over a bit about what the WHFTA is, what the event is coming up, obviously in a few weeks' time. Obviously, your background on it, all that sort of stuff. Just like obviously how you got into shooting, all that jargon. Really, there'll be no sort of structure. We'll just have a little chit chat.
Let's go.
But first and foremost, just if you just like introduce yourself, where you come from, what you do, all that sort of stuff.
So my name's Kieran Turner. I'm one of the WHFTA team. I'm one of the organisers. Raw volunteers that run the World Hunter Field Target Association, which basically organises the World Hunter Field Target Championships every year. Mm-hmm. So it's coordinated. It's turned into event management and all that sort of stuff that came with it, which is none of our backgrounds.
Right.
But we cobble it. Yeah, we really cobble it together. And this year, we're really privileged that we've managed to. It's an incredibly difficult year economically for people.
Of course, yeah.
And we've managed to slam up 324 participants.
Oh, fantastic.
Which, in terms of numbers, is actually the biggest outdoor airgun competition in the world, which is nuts. And we're supported by the shooting industry. So like you guys, we've got various other manufacturers, in particular Airlines are probably like the standout one that come and support us and things. And they typically sponsor us like you guys with prizes, as opposed to monetary any sort of monetary contributions. We generate all our own revenue from people coming and competing. All that money comes back in, and then we put on this event with a shoestring budget and the best will in the world, mate. The best will in the world as much as we can. So
fantastic. So just I had a quick chat with you. Obviously, a bit your personal background in the shooting. Obviously, say you're involved with the WHFTA now. Obviously, just talk about what you've done in the past, what you do.
Yeah. So like most people, I started with an airgun in my back garden.
Yeah.
And then there was something called HFT. I just started.
Yeah.
And it was just a little bit of I'm going to go a bit of a tangent here because I think it's important to understand kind of how the modern inception of HFT has kind of come about. It was very briefly, it was started by a chap called Pete Sparks, who took the HFT format and basically unified it and distributed it out. So everybody was kind of playing on the same song sheet because there was like in the UK, there was lots of clubs doing their own little offshoot of it. Yeah. And he kind of glued it together and then created a national series. And then subsequently, on the back of the success of this national series, the WHFTA was created to spread it out on an international level. So back to your question. So I started HFT when I was 14. Yeah. So basically, it's most of my adult life I've been doing this or dipping my toe in and out. Yeah. I got good at it at one point. I was pretty competent, and then kind of life got in the way, and then I've kind of come back. I've sort of navigated back around to it and thought it'd be good to kind of sort of give back to something because I gained a lot out of it from like the skill set sort of thing, the social aspect, and the ability to communicate with people, especially like a young adult. Yeah, like that skill set that I managed to pick up. It's phenomenal. We see it time and time again, so just kind of give back. But good. Long-winded answer, mate. But
no, absolutely no. As I say, that's what we're here to learn, obviously, that sort of stuff. So we'll just talk, obviously, a bit about the championships itself. Yeah. Obviously, so you have to forgive my naivety and this sort of stuff. It's really not my area.
Right, absolutely. You ask a question, I will do my best to answer it.
Just talk about obviously when the event is, how long the event is, and what sort of disciplines. Obviously, we don't get the HFT discipline, but I'm talking about obviously, is it just strictly PCP? Is it brake barrels, springers, all that sort of stuff?
So the event is on the 17th and 18th of September. It's at Weston Park, it's Staffordshire, and it's actually part of Weston Park Country Fair. It's a game fair, so it's kind of a bolt-on, and it's both a bolt-on and an amalgamation into that. Right. And we work really closely with the guys at Weston Park that allow us to put that and give us this massive footprint to put something on such as this, because I cannot reiterate how much value that brings. Having the space and the infrastructure. It costs thousands, and to have that for basically nothing, it's phenomenal. It allows us to give us the platform to launch this. And like I said before, there's 324 competitors coming along, different classes. So the classes that we have is PCP, so which would be the open class, is 177 PCP rifles, recoiling class, spring gun, so break barrel, underlever, everything in between. Got the junior class, which is from anyone from 9 all the way up to 14 is where our juniors end. Sorry, anything up to 16 is where our juniors end. We've got the ladies class. Yeah. We have 2-2, and we also have a veterans class. So 2-2 is use a 2-2 or a 2-5, and it's people that do that. Special. They're special people. There we go. Special humans.
That's fine. So again, obviously 177 is the majority of
So rough count, me and Pete was doing the entry list last night. I think it's 65% 177 PCP across all disciplines. So that's still quite. You've still got 35% there either doing like the recoiling class or the 2-2 class, which is a healthy chunk, but vast majority 177 PCP.
Okay, fair enough. And it's all, am I correct in presuming it's all sub 12 foot pound?
All sub 12 foot pound, so it's all sub 12 foot pound. At the moment, there isn't the market to start moving it into the FAC sort of world. And one of the beauties about HFT is because of it being sub 12 foot pound, it makes it pretty damn accessible to people. Like people can go into their local gun shop and they can purchase one as long as the necessary checks are there. Yeah. Purchase a rifle and they can go to the local club and they can start getting involved that way and then come all the way through. Whereas from the FAC point of view, it's more difficult to attain. It takes more effort to get it.
It's a ball ache.
It's depending on what your effort, like what region you're. I don't know what your guys like. Flow around here, my neck of the woods. It's slow. Yeah, it's slow.
I'll be honest with you, it's diabolical around here. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, and obviously, there's certain events that have happened down here. Obviously, actually, the date that we are recording this today does actually happen to be a year since what happened in Plymouth last year. So it's obviously that sort of stuff. They're not really going to help with Devon and Cornwall because Devon and Cornwall also took on Dorset as well.
It's a big footprint, mate.
Yeah, it's massive.
Big footprint.
And when you think how many shooters are in the southwest, it's massive.
It's like the same as Yorkshire. Like Yorkshire's got a lot of shooters, but I think they've got like 2 fellows or something, or whatever they're called nowadays. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So sub 12 foot pounds, mate. Yeah, sub 12 foot pounds.
Okay, that's fine. I suppose obviously, I say if you do move into the FAC, going on to that sort of legality side of thing, they'd have to be a bit more stringent on obviously who can transport what and where. And
it's the dynamics, and I'd say now we have no intention of pushing it out purely because of that. It's not risk versus reward, but effort versus reward. Yeah. It's like, why would you put that much effort in and not you get 20 people? Whereas we can put a substantial amount of effort in and try and get 320 to up to 360 people in the same place at the same time.
So let's go back. As you said, obviously, with sub 12, anyone can go and obviously buy a shot, buy a rifle, buy a scope, whatever it needs to be. So, in terms of the world competitions itself, do people have to qualify for it, or is it literally just anyone?
No, and this is one of the beauties. It's at this point in time, it's one of the beauties of it. If it ever gets to the point where it becomes that we've got thousands of applicants coming to try and do that, we'll try and accommodate them, but there's got to become a point. Got to come a point, but we're not there yet. No. So we're not there. So anyone can enter as long as they comply with Section 21. Yeah. Firearm law, sub 12 foot pound rifle. Anyone can compete. Our advice to competitors is don't come and just turn up and have a crack at this one because with it being that top end competition, it will be difficult. Yeah. And trying to get into the flow of things and trying to learn it'll take away from your experience. Our advice would be club competitions, regional competitions, and then national competitions and that. So anyone competes. So from beginners can come along with a bit of experience, right up to people that have been doing it for the vast majority of their adult life. So what that creates is you've got people that are right at the top end, and they are phenomenal shooters. They are to take a 177 shuttlecock that's moving. 800 feet per second, and they try and hit something the size of a 5 pence piece. Yeah, outdoors consistently, it takes a phenomenal amount of skill.
Yeah.
And these people can kind of rub shoulders with each other as well. So that ability to learn off these people, you've got a direct conduit. You just walk up to them.
Yeah.
What did you do there? Why are you using that?
Yeah.
How do you do this? And that transfer of information. And the bottom end, it's not meant derogatory, but the bottom end shooters can then transcend far quicker. So
100%.
So that's one of the beauties of it.
No, absolutely. Yes, obviously say former colleague John, obviously say World FT 18 champion, all that sort of stuff. He never used to shut up about that.
Did he not?
No.
Shocking.
Shocking. Every single video.
Where's the humility, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Every single video insisted on putting it at the bottom of the video, the description. So I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, he used to say how you guys always used to bounce off each other, always learn from each other. Always go say, right, okay, what did you do there? How can you improve that there? Okay, what options? What gear are you using? How are you amalgamating that setup together? Because obviously, I can only relate in sort of like obviously using hunting rifles, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Every single rifle is going to be different, isn't it? So it's obviously the way it reacts with certain pellets, and obviously the way maybe the specific optic you've chosen, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be individual to your setup as to how you create
it's an incredibly like across all shooting, any sort of shooting that I've done, like from air rifle, centre firing stuff. It's rifles and optics are incredibly individual things. There's obviously going to be specific rifles and specific optics that are far better suited than others to a particular discipline you're trying to use. That passage of information from like the top end shooters and more seasoned shooters to the people that are newer to it. It cuts down that learning curve, and it cuts down the amount of money that they'll go spend and try and essentially waste money. Waste money on something that probably wouldn't be that well suited to things. Typically, I'm trying to think what the typical bits of kit everyone uses. We'll call it like a base rifle. Yeah, maybe an Air Arms 400 is a really good
I was going to say that's
because that'll take. There's people at this end that use them and win. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with the rifle. And same with optics and things like that. There's people at this end that use the same kit. Yeah. There's people at that end and all that sort of jazz.
I can understand what you mean on that. So I'll go back to Springers because you have to excuse me. I'm just going off what John's told me in the past. So obviously, going back to the Springers,
he loves a good Springer.
He's just like obviously he's using a TX200, which is like it's not an expensitive air rifle.
Not in the grand scheme of things.
No. Obviously, yes, he's customised the stock, all that sort of stuff and whatnot. But I remember obviously when I used to work in gun shop days, like if you wanted a decent sort of underlever air rifle, it's either going to be the majority of the time it's going to be a TX200 because it's sub £500 for an air rifle. So you can't really go wrong. But now you look at it, especially like in the PCP side, like obviously you've got like your FX, your Steyr, like nearly $3,000 sort of stuff. Yeah. Versus and then you look at the Anschutz stuff as well. It's like it's a lot of money to be spending on an air rifle when something that I can see, as you say, can do exactly the same job as maybe that's like if someone were to buy, I don't know, a HW 100 KT or something like that. So it's the same sort of thing. It's interesting to perceive, obviously, what kind of kit is really used out there.
So the way that I kind of try and explain the kit disparity, because the people at the top end, you rightly say, they'll use typically Steyr, Anschutz, Air Arms derivatives. They're kind of the ones that dot around that realm. But also at this entry level, people look at people like, they're using this and using this scope and all that sort of jazz. The thing is, with the people that do this, they've spent that amount of time with that rifle and they know it inside out. And it's just that, particularly with the Steyrs and the Anschutz, all the Alitech type rifles. And this is where there's similarities to the firearms world. These are modular systems. So what do you get from modular system? Modular stability. You can move them in and out. It's not that the inherent action is less accurate than an Air Arms S400. It absolutely isn't. It's the fact that you can tailor it. You've got loads of accessories. If you look at PRS now, the amount of stuff like MDT, they're the kings of those stocks and things like that. The amount of adjustability. If I go back, 20 years, mate, you've got no adjustability. Yeah. Like in anything, you just got a standard stock, maybe wrap a bit of inner tube around it, you've got a high cheek piece. Done. Same with the firearm world. Yeah. And you've got all these adjustable things, and that's why those systems are used far more. Yeah, completely. Yeah. And so you're absolutely right. As I say, you go to the PRS, PRL, that sort of stuff. They do that. Big ticket money, mate.
It is. It's massive stuff. Like you look at like Let's say the MDT. It is just literally like a Meccano set. You can just change whatever you want to on it, really. But no, as I say, obviously it's interesting to obviously hear what kind of rifles you use. Let's get on to the really important stuff. I mean, what kind of optics are you seeing out there? Obviously,
optics, right?
I will say. I hate referring back to him again, but John was just striker. That was his Delta striker. Yeah. That's what he loved. That's what he got with it. I've spoken to him in the podcast before. Obviously, how he went on from is it like the
Nico?
The big Nico. That's it. Yeah, all the way through. Yeah, and like the Golden Eagle, all that sort of stuff. Golden Eagle, all that sort of stuff, and then how he decided on the striker is the best.
Yeah.
Now it's my understanding with HFT that once you set your magnification, it's correct. You can't change it from between target to target. Is that correct?
That's right. So the basic concept is that you zero your scope at a particular distance, whatever that is. You set your magnification and you set your parallax. That's it. You're not touching the scope throughout the entirety of that competition, and you use essentially a hold over and hold under. So in relation to where the pellet strikes, in relation to your reticle, that's how you do it. Much more simplistic than the FT side of things, or like the centre fire where you're down, up and down. And typically you need a far more basic optic than you would that. You don't need the repeatability of going up and down and traversing. But anyway, scope-wise, you can use anything. You literally can, because of the way in which you're using it. But if I was to be saying which are the most popular across all spectrums, I think you've at entry level, like up to 150 quid, you've got loads. Yeah. Like Hawks are probably in there at the moment. The lower end optizans, if you come into the mid range where you're knocking past the two, what I would class as mid range, 200 to 400 mark. Yeah. Optizan CP, Hawk Air Max 10-40s, they're the kind of the ones that we see. Past that, World Your Oyster, mate. Yeah. Like you can go Vortex, March, Loopholes, like just go with it. But the one that kind of fits the middle ground would be, you guys have it, the SWFA. Yeah. The 10-42. Mate, for me personally, if anyone wants to go buy a scope to do this, that would cover everything from starter to right at the top end, that's the one. I know I'm not that's not a plug. I've got no relation. I've got no relationship with SWFA at all. But they are, in my opinion, the best.
I imagine it's more from the fact that it is a fixed mag scope. Yeah. There's no faffing around. You don't have to worry about too much. It's there. You bring that bam away. You get something. So it's interesting you mentioned the CP. Obviously, we don't like to in the podcast. You say we don't like to say too much about specific products, but obviously the CP was released sort of early 2020 from memory. Have you seen that come more and more onto the HFT set?
Yeah, massively so. Massively. It just ticks all those boxes. Smaller objective lens, fixed magnification. Yeah. The reticle's incredibly usable. Yeah. And the price. Yeah. It's right in that thing where you could, like former world champions use the damn thing. Yeah. So that speaks volumes. If they're using that sort of stuff and everyone else, I think one of Simon was involved. Simon Vant, he was involved in the actual. He was involved in helping Optizan with that. That's it, exactly. Not that he tells everyone. No.
No, we didn't really know. His signature wasn't on the bottom of it. Yeah.
So. Mate, Southerners, I'm telling you.
No, all right. So obviously you mentioned SWFA, that's the one. So we'll talk about your particular setup. I'm going to guess from what you said. Is it an Aerons that you've got and you're using an SWFA on top? That's just hazard.
No, I have a multitude of setups. Unfortunately, I don't manage to get shooting that much anymore because of work-life commitments. The stuff with that WHFTA has turned into almost a part-time job. It's a garden that just continuously needs tending, and that's the same for the rest of the team. So I don't manage to get shooting, but I have Styes, the LG 100s, LG 100 and a 110, SWFA, and then I've also got a March as well. That's a bit. That is way above what you would need for any of that sort of stuff, but it is traversed. That is going to be moved onto a centre fire when the variation comes through, if it ever comes through. That's it.
Seems to be the case across stuff, but it's good. Obviously, you come on to centre fire, so you know you've done a bit of centre fire shoots. So we'll go slightly off the WHFTA sort of situation. Well, I suppose it's linked in a way anyway, because obviously pellets are made out of lead. Yeah. Obviously, you know where I'm going to go with this.
Absolutely. Go.
As a deer stalker myself, it is an absolute pain in the. I can't say what is on here, but there's a pain in the arse to actually try and find copper ammunition. Yeah. Works well because personally, I don't think it's ethically sound. I mean, I'm using, I say, a 243 270. Yeah. I use a 270 on a red, with a 130 grain soft point
the amount of expansion.
Yeah, exactly.
Energy that's transferred.
Yeah, and I know with
It's
a lead
dead.
shot, it's going down straight away.
Yeah.
I've shot a couple with copper and they ran on 60 meters, and I'm just not happy with that at all because it just doesn't, as you say, expand as much.
Yeah.
So, do you think, obviously shoot bit centre fire yourself? How do you think the copper transition is coming on, and obviously then how do you think that will affect the air gun?
My personal opinion is that because it's still in dispute, this is not finalised, and this is a narrative that we all need to kind of twist away from. This is not in the sand. This is not done deal yet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of consultations that are happening. We've been at WHFTA have been involved in the consultation with the NSRA and HSEQ.
Yeah.
We've supplemented our findings, and in a nutshell, the ammunition that's available now is substandard. It's fundamentally not actually safe to use. You can like a standard off-the-shelf rifle will at 20 meters will group inside a 5-pence piece.
Yeah.
With pretty much most pellets off the market. These damn things are like lead-free alternatives. 300 mil.
Yeah.
20 meters, and that's our findings. It's common with what the NSRA have found.
Yeah.
We took it out a little bit further, 50 meters. You're not hitting anything.
Bloody hell.
It's not safe. And then if you were to then try and use that for hunting as well, once again, you hit on it.
Yeah.
It's not ethically sound.
No.
It's absolutely not ethically sound. And then where I personally sit, and that's not the views of WHFTA, I think it's just it's another very narrow conventional narrative to just go for. It's an easy win, isn't it? And again, it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory or anything like that. But guns are typically bad things, bad in inverted commas.
That's it.
And it's an easy win, isn't it? If you just go this and then saying ban that in with being greener, which is a buzzword again, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to make the planet a better place and understand the human impact on it. But when you look at the actual impact of what this is potentially doing based on a single study, it just makes no sense. You're about to decimate. What's the shooting industry in the UK worth? 2 billion?
Well, something stupid like
2.2, I think I saw that. I think Bass quoted 2.2 billion. So let's cut that by 90%.
Yeah,
the economic the people that are making these calls don't understand the magnitude, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Very narrow-minded, but
I can. No, it's fair. It's good, obviously, to get your opinion out. As I say, obviously, where I'm based is obviously up on Exmoor. There's a lot of shotgun game shooting as well. Yeah. Which is it's certainly better than some of that rubbish you get up north, anyway. But
mate, I'd agree. I'd agree with that stuff.
Having said that, it is the glorious 12th today, so obviously I do feel for the boys out in the morning in the sun, rather than me. I've seen it more and more because I get involved a lot with that when I'm not working. But obviously, you see these eco wads, you see these steel shots coming through. Obviously, yes, it's okay for the people that can afford expensive guns that've got steel-proof barrels. But if you've got someone that, like a Farmer Blogs, he's had a side-by-side for the past 30-odd years. Oh, he can't go shooting now because he can't put steel shots through his barrel.
Absolutely.
So it's stuff like that. It seems to be, as you say, economically going in the wrong direction. I mean, planet saving, all that sort of stuff, but I generally don't see it at the moment as a good option.
No, I personally don't. I do think it's just looking through a singular lens. I kind of see it similar to electric cars. Bear with me on this one.
That's right.
Is that it's great to have these electric cars. That everybody should have electric cars. Great, save the planet. Absolutely. However, driving an electric car and maintaining it and having to successfully run it requires infrastructure. Infrastructure increases carbon footprint. When I say infrastructure, I'm talking about cabling from substations, bigger substations.
That's it,
Think about how many terraced houses in the UK. So rip up your roads. Yeah. You've got to rip up your roads now to install this cabling, and we haven't got any power generation facilities, so we have to put them. So let's think about that carbon footprint there at this end, and not just look at it in this box. And I personally believe that both the lead-free ammunitions, the electric cars, look through this lens. At some point, it probably will be worth doing. Yeah. But you've got to put the infrastructure in place, and that infrastructure comes at a price that people just don't want to discuss. Exactly. Let's just discuss the thing that's in this lane. That's kind of the best analogy I can give to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I'm getting an electric car as well.
That's it. No, it really is interesting how it does, as you say, you can analyse it with various different aspects of life. It seems to be the common denominator does be to see this whole climate change impact saving the planet, which, don't get me wrong, I'm all for. It's certainly my personal view on it. But as I say, you've got you've got to take the bigger picture on it.
Yeah, definitely. Open your eyes. Open your eyes and be far more objective with the information that's there.
Exactly. So, anyway, we've digressed ever so slightly. Yeah, from ammunition to electric cars. Yeah, it's gone on. Okay, Kieran. Thank you very much for coming here today.
My pleasure.
Really, really good to have you. Very, very informative. As I say, hopefully, I've learned a bit. I think Tom, the cameraman's learned a bit as well. Anyone interested in obviously the WHFTA, they can visit the website, which is
www.whfta.org. You can also find us on Facebook at WHFTA. Instagram is WHFTA_HFT. If you've got any questions, drop us an email, admin@whfta.org.
Fantastic. Excellent stuff. Of course, guys, if you do want to sign up next year, it is on that website.
Yeah, it's on the web. All the information's there, mate. And just any questions, or if you've even thinking about starting your own airgun journey, drop us a mail. We'll point you in the right direction. We'll put people in the right place for clubs and all that sort of stuff. We'll put you in contact with the right people, hopefully.
Fantastic. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. So Kieran's very kindly come down here with us today. We look forward to hearing from you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions, as always, you know where we are. We will see you very soon.